If you think all Earl Grey teas taste the same, you're about to be pleasantly shocked. In this video, you and a mug are going on a tour from pretty good supermarket Earl Grey all the way to the kind of cup that makes you pause mid-sip and say, "Oh, that's what Earl Grey is supposed to taste like." In this video, 7 different Earl Grey teas have been lined up and tested back-to-back, ranked from good to absolutely outstanding, and each one has its own personality, strengths, and a few quirks. Number 7. Ahmad Tea Earl Grey Tea. This is a classic, affordable black tea blend scented with bergamot. It uses a mix of teas from East Africa and India with a strong Kenyan backbone that gives it a brisk, lively character in the cup. The first impression when the bag hits the water is that familiar cloud of citrusy aroma. It feels like a very traditional British-style Earl Grey, the kind that works well with a splash of milk or a slice of lemon. The bergamot here leans toward the assertive side. That bright, exotic citrus fragrance comes through clearly, but in a longer steep, the flavor can tip from refreshing into slightly sharp and cologne-like, especially if the water is very hot and the bag is left in for more than 4 minutes. The base tea itself is medium-bodied, with enough backbone to stand up to milk, yet not as smooth or refined as some of the higher-end blends further up this list. In daily use, Ahmad's biggest advantage is consistency and convenience. Tagged, stringed bags are easy to work with, and most of their tagged tea bags are now made from natural fibers and are home compostable, which is a nice touch for everyday tea drinkers trying to avoid microplastics. It shines as a workhorse Earl Grey, ideal for big thermos brews, office mugs, and anyone who likes a strong, no-nonsense cup with clear citrus notes. Where Ahmad slips to the bottom of this ranking is subtlety. 6. Harney & Sons Earl Grey Supreme. This is where the list starts to tilt into more connoisseur territory. This blend combines black tea, oolong, and even white tea silver tips, then layers on a generous hit of bergamot oil to create a more textured and aromatic cup. The moment the sachet is opened, the citrus scent is clean and refined rather than perfumey, and there's a hint of natural sweetness from the high-grade tippy leaves. In the cup, Earl Grey Supreme has a noticeably lighter body than a standard black-only Earl Grey, thanks to the white tea component, which softens the edges and gives the liquor a silky, almost delicate feel. The flavor leans lemony and bright, with bergamot that feels integrated rather than sprayed on top, and the blend remains pleasant even as it cools, which is a good sign of quality ingredients. However, that lighter body is also where the criticism comes in. If you prefer a bold, malty, breakfast-style Earl Grey that can take a generous splash of milk and still punch through, Supreme can feel a little too gentle and airy. The white tea and oolong influence make it more of a sipping tea than a wake-me-up tea, and it can seem underpowered compared to the straightforward punch of some of the other options. Another practical drawback is price versus impact. You're paying for a higher grade of tea and the addition of silver tips, but in a quick, distracted daily brew, it doesn't always feel dramatically better than a good mid-range Earl Grey. 5. Harney & Sons Black Earl Grey. This tea feels like the brand's more grounded, everyday entry. This loose-leaf blend uses black teas from India and China, plus natural bergamot oil, and comes across as a more classic take without the white tea lightness of the Supreme. When the dry leaves hit the pot, the aroma is immediately comforting. Warm, slightly toasty tea notes with a clear but not overpowering citrus top note. In the cup, this one is medium-bodied and very steady. The Formosa oolong component, where used, helps round out the texture, but the overall impression is of a clean, brown liquor with just enough heft to feel satisfying in the morning. The bergamot is gentler than in many aggressively flavored Earl Greys. Instead of slapping you with perfume, it sits in the background as a bright accent, allowing the actual tea to take center stage. From a practical standpoint, Black Earl Grey shines in versatility. Brewed at around 4 to 5 minutes, it takes milk well without losing its identity, and it also drinks nicely plain, especially if you like a more subtle citrus presence. It's an excellent base for a homemade London fog. There's enough body to stand up to milk and vanilla syrup, but the bergamot remains clear and recognizable even after the drink is sweetened. What stands out when comparing it directly with Earl Grey Supreme is reliability. Where Supreme can feel a bit delicate and fussy, this loose-leaf black Earl Grey is more forgiving. Even if it steeps a bit long, it tends to get stronger rather than harsh. Number 4. Twinings Earl Grey Black Tea. Twinings was one of the original companies to popularize this style, and their current blend stays close to that classic profile. Light, fragrant black tea, flavored with citrusy bergamot, sometimes with a hint of lemon. The aroma out of the packet is almost instantly recognizable. Bright, floral citrus notes over a relatively gentle black tea base. In the cup, Twinings is lighter than many on this list, but very approachable. The body is on the softer side, creating a tea that is easy to sip throughout the day without feeling heavy or over-caffeinating, while the bergamot gives a crisp, clean lift that works particularly well without milk. There is enough flavor that, with a 2 to 3 minute steep, you get a clear Earl Grey identity, but it doesn't stray into sharp or soapy territory. One of Twinings' strengths is consistency and flexibility in brewing. Brewed shorter, you get a delicate, almost refreshing cup that feels closer to a citrus-scented afternoon tea. Brewed closer to 3 or 4 minutes, it develops more backbone and stands up to a small splash of milk or a slice of lemon. Because the bergamot is well integrated, it holds its character even as the tea cools, making it a nice choice for iced Earl Grey with a wedge of orange or lemon. When tasted next to the more premium teas higher on this list, Twinings doesn't have the same depth or complexity in the base tea, but it still impresses with how well-balanced it remains for such a widely available brand. 3. Davidson's Tea Bulk Earl Grey. This brings something a bit different, organic bulk loose tea at a very reasonable price point. This tea is designed for people who drink a lot of Earl Grey and want both quality and value, and the fact that it comes in a large 1-pound bag signals that it's meant for daily brewing and experimentation. The blend uses black tea flavored with bergamot, with an emphasis on smoothness over aggressiveness. When brewed, Davidson's gives a cup that is full-bodied without being harsh. The black tea comes through with a mellow, rounded character, and the bergamot leans more toward a gentle, citrusy aroma than a perfumed punch in the face. This makes it particularly easy to drink plain, and it's a strong candidate if you like to drink multiple mugs a day without getting palate fatigue. The bulk format is a major part of its appeal. Because you're using loose leaf from a big pouch, you can fine-tune the leaf-to-water ratio for different uses. Stronger for a London fog or a sweetened latte, lighter for a summer iced tea with a bit of honey and lemon. It also lends itself nicely to blending. Adding a pinch of lavender, vanilla bean, or even another black tea lets you customize your own signature Earl Grey style at home. Davidson's also leans into organic and value credentials, making it attractive if you care about ingredients but don't want to pay ultra-premium prices. 2. Bigelow Earl Grey Flavored Black Tea. This is a tea that proves that mass market doesn't have to mean mediocre. Bigelow's blend is built on hand-picked black tea and flavored with 100% real bergamot oil sourced from Calabria in Italy, specifically using the first cold pressing of the fruit for maximum purity and brightness. Even before steeping, opening one of the individually wrapped foil pouches releases a vivid citrus aroma that feels natural and fresh instead of artificial. In the cup, Bigelow comes across as bold yet refined. The black tea base is sturdy and reassuringly strong, which makes this an excellent breakfast or mid-afternoon pick-me-up, while the bergamot provides bright, fragrant top notes that taste like actual citrus peel rather than perfume. The balance between tea and flavoring is very well judged. The bergamot is front and center, but it never completely masks the underlying tea, and that is what makes each sip satisfying rather than one-dimensional. Practicality is another huge plus. Each tea bag is sealed in a foil envelope, which locks in aroma and keeps the bergamot oil from degrading, something that cheaper Earl Greys often struggle with over time. This means that even months into a box, the tea still opens with that same bright citrus hit and full flavor in the cup, making it perfect for keeping at the office, in a drawer, or in a travel kit. Bigelow also holds up incredibly well across brewing styles. A short 2 to 3 minute steep yields a smooth, aromatic cup that needs nothing added. 1. Teatulia Organic Earl Grey Tea. This is a tea that stands out not just for flavor, but for how it redefines what a convenient bagged Earl Grey can be. This blend uses shade-grown organic black tea from Teatulia's own regenerative tea garden in Bangladesh, balanced with bergamot citrus and packaged in plant-based compostable pyramid bags filled with whole leaf tea. Right away, the difference is clear. You see real, intact leaves rather than dust, and the aroma is deep, rich, and naturally citrusy. In the cup, Teatulia delivers a full, rounded body with an almost creamy mouthfeel, far beyond what most standard tea bags manage. The black tea has a smooth, malty backbone, and the bergamot is woven through it in a way that feels integrated, not sprayed on top. It tastes like the citrus is part of the leaf, rather than a separate layer. The overall profile is bright but sophisticated. The citrus lifts the tea, but the underlying flavor stays grounded and complex, with no bitterness or harsh astringency when brewed at the recommended 3 minutes. Those pyramid bags are not just a gimmick. Because they leave room for the whole leaves to expand, the extraction is more even, helping to unlock the full flavor and aroma you'd expect from loose leaf, with the convenience of a tea bag. The plant-based material also means no microplastics in your cup, and the bags are compostable, which aligns well with the regenerative, organic philosophy behind the brand's tea garden. Final thought. That's all for today, folks.